Hi everyone, welcome to Downtime. This is Azzy,
This is Aida.
and again, we're Downtime. Welcome
Nice.
to our final episode of Volume 2. So, this is an end of a small era, and for this episode, all we want to do is talk about reflecting on Downtime so far. So, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah,
So,
we've come a quite a long way. I would say a year, considering where we started out and where we aim for downtime to be. We aim for it to be just a simple conversation between two people with friends on IGTV, but it expanded into YouTube, and we have learned the grind of how challenging it actually is to be a content creator on YouTube. So yeah, seriously, kudos to everyone out there who is a content creator on YouTube. You guys have really shown how difficult, but how much work it takes to reach the level of success you are at. So yeah, we've only had a small pinch of salt, but it's been rewarding. I'd say I mean, yeah.
yeah,
What do you think, Ozzy?
it is. It's been rewarding. You start to think about how much work is being put into it, like getting guests, communicating with those guests, outlining what you want to talk about, and considering comfort and everything for both you and the guests. And then thinking about the conversations you want to have and what you want to direct to the audience is pretty interesting. And as well as like Instagram and yeah, it's our Instagram and YouTube, learning how to create words, string together words for it. And now that we have a designer and a video person, a video editor, it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing how our team has grown in
Yeah.
just a short amount of time. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
And I guess from doing this podcast, we also kind of reached out to people who were pretty like-minded as well. With all the guests that we have had, yes, we're very different people. We're very, very different. But what sews us all together is individual different types of motivations and goals. For example, with Ritz, we connected on psychology and how humans work, and understanding how psychopaths and sociopaths work, and that was enough to keep the conversation going because it's understanding the world around us. And let's say with Akil, if you guys have already watched the episode, if you haven't, click on our profile, go look for Akil. It was a really good episode about mental health. Yeah, so from time to time, we always go through hardships in life, and there's no denying that mental health issues do exist, even though it is said as a myth. So yeah, these are things that certain people do resonate with. I personally resonate with this because for most of my life, as you know from volume 1, it has been something that has consumed me. So yes, we do resonate a lot with people, and we do meet a lot of people along the way that make us feel like we're much less alone in such a large world full of nearly 8 billion people. So yeah,
Gosh, that
yeah.
number is crazy.
The number
And
is
just to even
crazy.
like,
Like, yeah.
yeah, to recap on other episodes too, we spoke to Kath, and for me personally, that one resonated with me as a person who enjoys advocating for issues. So it's amazing how working with Kath in my personal life as well, and seeing her and having her on the show, it's very inspiring, and it was just really great to have her on, speaking about her personal experiences,
Yeah.
um, and speaking about privilege. It's a topic that we talk about on the daily on social media, and trying to acknowledge our own privileges and work around that. So that's check out the episode if you haven't yet.
Yeah.
And even later on, yeah, our most recent episode with Sam, it's learning the perspective of an artist. Like, what were your thoughts on that, Ida? Because I remember how interesting it went and how shook we were towards the end as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like it to be in a state of constant creativity and making that your daily job. I feel like that's something only certain people can do and take. It's like
Mhm.
how I would question, how does a labor worker constantly go to the construction site every day and carry cement? It's like they're wired to it. They're used to it. And they have built a certain endurance for it. So similarly with Sam and her being in this line of work, I'm I'm sure that she's already wired to it and found a system that works for her to stay constantly creative. And there are, like what she mentioned, there are creative blocks as well. And I think that it's just it's just really really interesting how, like, because personally when I have a creative block, I have to take time off. I can't jump back into it because that will be pulling and pushing my passion from doing what I want to do, let's say writing, or nah, I don't draw, but yeah, anything creative basically. Because I work in bursts and sparks, so it's very interesting to see how a designer goes at it every single day, like because she gets tasks like logo making and like all these projects that you need to constantly be churning new ideas. And I think it's considered a gift, I would say. Certain people are gifted with certain aspects in their life that they can, even though it's not easy, that it feels uh, a bit flawless to just execute. So yeah, I think on that topic, navigating away from the episodes we've had, which by the way, if you haven't watched, go check it out. Since we're done with volume 2, you can just rewatch it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Anyway, yeah, what would you say is one of your gifts, Azzy? Like anything that we might not know about you, like a certain talent we don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're thinking about it, like moving from that conversation about creativity, um, I would say that I have grown to be a person who enjoys absorbing creative creative designs, creative artwork, writings, um, creative content in general. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I've really taken the time to put that on paper or like use that creativity in any other way except for maybe speaking about it or maybe um, thinking about it deeply. Like, you know, when you kind of dissect information
Yeah.
from what you've absorbed. So that's what I
Mm-mm.
enjoy doing. But fun fact, when I was younger, I used to be a painter. So that's a little fun fact, I guess.
Yeah.
Something that not many people know about me.
Do you still paint
And
now?
I used to do. I don't because it got really expensive
Oh yeah.
and yeah, I think I realized I started trying to paint again when a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized that paints dry really fast. I was using
Yeah.
acrylic, and I didn't have the right. It's a certain liquid. I forgot what it was called, but it's to help delay the drying process of
Mm.
acrylic paints. And I didn't have that, and I was like stumped, and I was just like, you know what, I'm not gonna do this until I get enough money to buy that liquid. And I just never
Mm-mm.
had. I don't think it ever crossed my mind again. So acrylic paints dry really fast, and when I opened the tubes, they were just nothing was coming out. So
Understand.
yeah, but when I was younger, it was something really fun and something that I did with my art teacher. I also did flower arrangements with her. So it's a
Nice.
lot of yeah, it's pretty interesting how things change over the years.
Would
Yeah.
you welcome it back into your life anytime soon? Like flower arranging, painting, anything creative, hamper making, I don't know. Like
Mhm.
anything. Yeah. Would you? Maybe it's something that
I
you
think
could
I would.
re-explore. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've always wanted to try watercolor painting because it's something that it's a medium that I've never really tried.
Mm.
And it looks a little difficult because you gotta like go fast with it. You gotta blend
Yeah.
those colors. So I watch videos about it, absorb that information, and hope one day I'm gonna try it. But I think that day should be coming real soon instead of trying to delay that. So
Right. No
I
worries.
see.
I feel like with the creative process, right? For me, what works, even though I was very apprehensive about this method, is to just let yourself free flow into it. Whether it's dancing, whether it's singing, whether it's okay, acting not so much because acting has certain methods, but dancing, singing, drawing, writing, anything creative, especially when it comes to art, to free flow into it is to let your authentic self transfer onto paper, transfer into song, transfer into body movement. And why I feel that free flow is the best is because I was a person who could not understand free flow. I was the kind of person who said, okay, this method, like we gotta put our arms this way, gotta look good, a certain stroke to the brush, certain way we write. But it was a process for me to open my mind and see different methods and see what works best. So I would say, with watercolor, I feel like follow your heart and what you feel and put it on canvas, put it on paper. Even though it's difficult because our self judgment will always come up first. I don't know, not everyone's like this. Some people have this certain great confidence to say, yeah, this is my art. This is who I am. I'm gonna put this on paper. I love that so much because I don't have that
I love that.
naturally. There's a lot of self criticism that comes up for me and myself. Something I picked up growing up, and so before even getting to the good parts of work, of my artwork or good parts of my creative stuff, I already get creatively blocked because of all this self-criticism and self-judgment that comes into play. So I would say, if you do get back into watercolor, try dropping all of the videos, drop all of it, and give yourself a prompt. Like,
I think,
like
yeah.
let's say I can only use blue, red, and yellow for 5 minutes, and let me think about the sun. And you just start painting. Like
Oh my
really like
God.
that, yeah. I feel like this really helps me writing as well. Yeah. Yeah, I'll
You
move
like
on to that
limit,
topic in a bit, but I feel like you have something to say.
I feel like you limit your options.
Sorry?
And like it sounds like we're limiting our options, and in that your
Mm.
creativity comes out. That's what
Yes.
I'm understanding, and that's
Yep.
pretty interesting because a lot of us like strive for perfection.
That's me as
And
well.
yeah, same. Yeah, so I think like putting that aside and allowing ourselves to be free, something beautiful might come out or not. Strive for failure, I guess.
I guess it's we talked about this just now before the recording. Black and white and gray. How different minds would say that the world is black and white, and different minds would say the world is gray. And the fact is, there are so many different people out there, so many different thoughts and opinions, and you believe what you want. You can comprehend what you want. But if you are the kind of person who sees the world in gray, like for me, I see the world in gray, and we can define gray bits as black as it could be, or as white as it could be. Um, a yin and yang thing. Basically, when it comes to creating, and some people would see that it takes a certain method or anything. I feel like it depends on the kind of person you are and see what suits best for you. Some people will be very responsive towards the prompts that limit you so you can get out of the box. Some people would take that limitation and create within that limitation. And some people are very courageous to not want a prompt at all. They know themselves, they know what they want, they would just take a few colors and create. So I'm more in the middle where I prefer a prompt to let myself go, and that's how I learn to be free later. So that's me building my courage to be more creative, I would say. But yeah, there are I think this would be a little bit controversial to say, but one thing I learned from a video game actually, that perfect paintings are perfect copies, not art, and not exactly what do you call it? Not exactly a painting, or not exactly your own artwork. Like if you were to paint the window, it's a perfect copy. But this guy believed that what do you see? What do you want to add to it? Is there something there that people don't see that you want to share with them? So I feel like, whoa, that when I heard that, that really opened up my mind a little bit more to what art actually is. You know, it's just like Bob Ross. When I watch him paint, at first I was like thinking, oh, okay, it's just a scenery, the background, the sunset, the trees and everything. But when he begins, it's so different from what is finished. And that's because he's creating his own world. He has that courage to create, and he goes and he creates as he goes along. And yeah, it's just with this whole creativity thing, I'm just like, wow, I there's so much for me to learn about myself here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this how I
He
was,
has this quote.
yeah. This why I was thinking,
Yeah.
like, if you do go back to watercolor, let yourself go with it. But yeah, take your time with it. Yeah. Yeah. You gonna
I
say?
will.
You gonna say something?
He has like the quote about happy little mistakes.
Happy mistakes.
Mistakes
Yeah.
are happy mistakes, and I it was just so encouraging. His videos
Yeah.
are so encouraging, and yeah, I'm just very thankful for him and his videos. But
Yeah.
yeah, moving on I wanted to explore the topic of black and white
Mhm.
that you were mentioning right now, and the grays. And I think working with people a lot, like in different organizations, I realized that I too focus on the grays, or not really focus, but like live my life understanding that the world isn't just completely black and completely white, and there are just so many hues to it.
Mhm.
And in a way, I've realized that it's kind of slowed my process in like getting to a decision. And this isn't for everything, of course, but this is specifically for understanding people's emotions
Mhm.
and understanding other people's point of views. So yeah, me as leader, what I realized is that um, people, what I like to do is try to understand everyone's point of view
Mhm.
before coming to a decision, especially if it would affect a team. And
Yeah.
2 nights ago, I was having a discussion with my own team, and I was trying to hear everyone's point of view, and it was delaying and delaying. And then they were just like, I don't think this is going anywhere. Like,
Mm.
it's great that you're trying to listen to us, but can we put a stop for this for now? And then I stopped to think about it. I was like, okay, maybe I should do this one-on-one, or like find a different way. So have
Yeah.
you ever found yourself in that situation?
Yeah.
Like, because working with people, there are people who think in black and white, or dark grays and
Yeah.
lighter grays. And they're just like, okay, so this, it's done. I don't care about like if this isn't something this person would agree with, but it's just how things are supposed to be.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a lot of experience with leading people, whether it's big or small groups. It's still not it's still not years of experience, but it is still something. Um with that, right? Uh I've learned that even though we want to gauge as many opinions as we can, there comes a time where we realize we have to decide for the group as a leader. What's best from what you've already heard. So this is why limits and time limits are very, very helpful in discussions. Um, like it also relates to the creative topic that we just brought up. How the limitation of blue, red, yellow, and a prompt where you think of the sun for 5 minutes and start painting. This direct limitation will get you to where you need to be with what you already have in you. So the same thing with this leadership. Everyone gets 2 minutes to think and 1 minute to speak. With the prompt, Okay, whatever the prompt is, let's say, how can we improve food quality during MCO self pickup, let's say. Things like that. Very direct and concise prompt. Everyone has 2 minutes to think, jot down, and everyone has 1 minute to speak in order. So everyone says something, no comments, but you as a leader, you get all of that information and you try to connect the dots. And I think that's more efficient and more cohesive because the synergy is there. Everyone is putting in their opinions. They've already had their time to blurt everything out in such a short time, because if you give them more time to speak, which would be good, more time to think, they would think too much and the ideas they really want to say won't come out. It's like being put on the spot. But when you give a time limit, and then people are just like, oh crap, I gotta say this. So anything at the top of their head is always the ideas that they want to say. I think that's one thing that I've learned. Anything at the top of someone's head is something they've always wanted to say. Could not be true for everyone, but so far, it does prove true for most things. So, with that whole thing, after you gauge everyone's opinion, you come to a consensus number one. So if someone has more to say, then as a leader, you pull them aside and get extra ideas. Because some people do not find this method to be the best. Because some people take time to think. Some people might have ideas that come later because they process things differently. Like for me, I process things differently. Maybe I need more time to come up with a better idea than what I wrote on paper. Things like that. So, but I think essentially for a mass group, this might work better. And it has worked for me, I think. In my later years of leadership, um, yeah, as much as I don't like to cut things short, as much as I love brainstorming, love to see where possibilities go, I feel like to get more efficient and to get things done, uh, when things are timely, especially, I think this works best. Putting a time limit, but everyone gets involved if you do want to gauge everyone's opinion. So yeah, I think that's just one of it, one of it, but
Yeah.
might not work for everyone, but it's worth trying, I would say. Yeah, time limit
Mhm.
and yep. But on that topic, I think we had the in Sam's episode, the last episode, we had the topic about writing as well. And ever since then, I've learned a lot about me as a writer. So I think the same thing does apply. Uh, I get freedom from limitation. And I wanted to explore this as well. Do you feel that you get freedom from limitation? Like you as a person, Azzy.
I personally can't think of any examples for now, except for perhaps the example that you just gave, like time limits and everything. And I feel that I do. I guess like coming to a decision is just the most important part for me
Mm-hmm.
because it's something that's difficult to do as a person who overthinks.
Right.
So something I learned as well is I think I was watching a video and this person said they used to be the type to think first and then take action, and
Mm.
they realized that it was taking so much time, and I really like resonated with that. So what they do instead now is that if they feel like if the idea comes to mind, they just go ahead with it. And I think I've tried to put that into the works. So if I feel like I'm not going to get a job, I'm just going to apply for it. And sometimes expect failure because that's how I prepare for prepare for it mentally. But at least I've done it, At least I've made a decision instead of waiting and hoping for something to happen. So it's
Right.
in a way it's putting a limit to it. You're limiting yourself with time. You're letting yourself do things instead of delaying things. I feel like
Right.
I'm going in circles now. It's the same
No, it's
thing.
alright.
But yeah.
Yeah.
What
Nice.
about you? I mean, you just mentioned
Limiting.
actually with your writing.
Um, I think in life in general, right? I've always been the kind of person to seek freedom, but I didn't realize it. Only later in my life, when someone uh, older than me, but I look up to her, she taught me what freedom actually meant and what it feels like. Because she would walk me through, oh, have you done this? Have you felt this? Have you done this in your daily? Are you gonna try this? So it's like that it's it's like a not really a mentor, but more like a guide. Like I don't know what I should call it. But yeah. Basically, let's go for mentor here. But I don't usually have mentors. But yes, you know what I'm aiming for. Basically, this person helped me define what freedom meant for myself. If not all the way, more so open the doors that, hey, Ida, did you know that this is freedom? Did you know that um, you should be seeking this instead of this? And it made me think as like as an 18, 19-year old, like, oh my god, my life has been wasted. No lah, but that was just a joke. No life is wasted. But with that information, I started to jump into the imbalance of complete freedom. So I tried everything. I did everything that I always wanted to do. Things like road trips randomly at 4 a.m. in the morning. I did that. Where you would stop by at a random McD and order only chicken nuggets. Things that I never, because I'm a very low risk taker, very calculative person. So once I figured out what freedom meant, I jumped into it and let go of myself completely. But this happened for me to strike the balance. So after being so free, I realized that the balance is that you give yourself a certain limitation, not too many limitations, but just enough for you to see that you can be free within limitation. Because if we look at the world, we're limited to this earth. I know Elon wants to go to Mars and he wants to take some of us there if we can afford it. But looking at how limited we are on Earth, how can we make ourselves even more liberated where we are? So let's say there's a scarcity in food supply. We create more by creating our own farms at home, for example. It doesn't take away the fact that there is less freedom for us to just pick off the ground with food that we need. But I feel like that's the beautiful thing. With such limitation, uh, we create an environment for ourselves to completely be free for how we define freedom. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
it's really, oh my god, it's if I did not come across that person to have told me that freedom exists, to realize that all my life I've been looking for that definition, I've been looking to be free, I don't think I would have been here today. I think I would have been, I don't know where I would be. I don't think downtime would have happened with you, Azzy. I don't think I
Oh,
would be streaming. I don't think I would be doing my writing projects. I would
so happy.
be rotting somewhere in corporate. I mean, I'm in corporate now, but I love the job. But what I mean to say is lifeless. Lifeless. If that simple definition was not just thrown my way, like just a tiny breeze, like a floating tissue paper on a windy day, like like dust at the side of the road just going up to you. Yeah, that's
That's
how it
amazing.
was for
Thanks for the
me.
dust.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's like magic dust. But yeah, I don't know
Keep it
if what I
easy.
said was cohesive, but that's how I feel about freedom. That too much of it is very
Wow.
detrimental. Too little of it is also detrimental. But the balance that works for me, find your balance. As Nike once said, Nike. This is not a sponsored
Sponsor
ad.
us, please. But we're open for
But we're
sponsorship. Thank you.
open. Volume 3. But yeah, I'm joking. No, no, cut that out. I'm sorry. But if Nurul keeps it in, add a laughing emoji, please.
I
But
say
yes,
joke, joke,
it's
joke.
joke with
Well,
emoji. But yeah,
we're not liable for any.
what was I
Mhm.
saying? Yeah. So the balance that works for me is to get the limitations I was used to and do something about that by thinking outside the box within the enclosed box. So it does lead to a lot
That's
of different
beautiful.
things like my idealistic mind, and I think we talked about this in volume 1, right? Idealistic
Probably.
mind. Yeah, I don't
Yes.
think we talked about it this volume. But if you want to go check
Mm-mm.
the volume 1 out, there's one episode where I talk about my idealistic mind, I think. Can't remember if this was just a conversation with a friend or if it was on a podcast because everything feels the same. Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
have
can't
very
I can't tell
insightful
anymore.
conversations.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Before I talk about
Yes.
idealistic mind, Ozzy, you wanted to say something?
Oh,
No?
no, no, no.
Oh
I
no?
did.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, I thought so, I thought so. But yeah, yeah. So get your freedom today. Freedom. Yeah.
Freedom,
Freedom. Yeah, so it's
freedom.
just I think moving on from that a little bit. Um how do you deal with whether it's your freedom being taken away, or how do you deal with feeling restricted? Let's say, for
Mm.
example, hypothetically, you've been living in the same place for a long time, but you always wanted to explore, but then let's say your parents don't allow you to. Like until you reach a certain age, or even if you reach a certain age, and you're not allowed to do anything you still want to, how would you deal with that? So let's say now, from the hypothetical question, in your life, is there something that um, makes you feel so restricted or something you have to live by that takes away the freedom of what you really want to do? And how do you deal with that? How do you let yourself navigate that and be free? Yeah.
Funnily enough, that is my entire life. So I
Oh
grew
my
up in a
god.
country that was very restrictive.
Mhm.
Um, and where people don't usually go out of their houses.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to live in like a closed housing area where you could actually go to the park and stuff, but otherwise going out is just such an odd thing. So that is a restriction in itself. I don't think there was enough freedom to socialize. And I've realized something about me is that I enjoy connecting with people. But how do you
Yeah.
do that when you're forced to only
Mm.
connect with the people you see on the daily, which is family? And I love connecting with my family, but
Mm.
it's just amazing to like pick people's minds, get out of your house, talk to a stranger, and that's something I couldn't do growing up. And I mean, I don't know if that's like legal for like a kid to think about it, like a kid talking to an adult and be like, "Can you tell me all about your life?" Like, I don't know. We'll think about that later, the legalities and stuff. But it was just it wasn't something I often did, and I was very insecure as a kid. When you go to school, there are kids. Girl, I went to an all-girls school. There are girls who are prettier, smarter, taller, everything, and you're just put into a situation where you feel insecure. And again, that's another restriction, and it's a restriction imposed on like myself and other girls who are feeling that way
Mhm.
by society and by our families and who we are as a person. Um, so what I would do was, I think I haven't really fully gotten over it. Like when I was a kid, I didn't really find my way out of it.
Mhm.
But things I would do that really helped with creativity was art, and that's why I did do like paintings and stuff like that. And it was a simple conversation with a teacher that allowed me to befriend her and
Mm.
to have her befriend my family and for her to teach me paintings and for her to teach me how to draw. She even taught me math, sorry, my English.
Oh, it's
But
okay.
it was so amazing how one person can carry so much knowledge. And she was like a really wise old lady. she looks like the type of person, she seemed like the type of person that you would see at a cottage and then
Aw.
like go over for cookies, and then she shows you the entire world. And you're like, Grandma, that's beautiful. I didn't know life could be so much more than like straight hair and
Yeah.
like a greater height or whatever, and not chubby cheeks. I didn't know life was more than that. And it was, I think that there was a limitation not talking to people, but getting over that limitation allowed me to explore the world even more, especially in a country that was so restrictive.
Yeah.
So that country is in the Middle East, fun fact. Um, so yeah, and now that I think about it, that was my form of creativity, like actual, like um, straightforward. When people think about creativity, it's doing art. But I guess when I moved out of that country and came here, what I see as creativity and see me absorbing creative content is by speaking to people and having conversations. And maybe that's why I've been doing less art. Maybe that's why, I think ever since I came to Malaysia, all I've been doing pre-pandemic was going out and trying to meet as many people as possible, just because I was so impressed by how by the way people think, even if, like, I guess people think that they're not interesting enough, people think that they're the most boring people on earth. It's not it's not true.
Mm.
Everyone is so unique in their own way and so the same in their own way. Everyone's the same and different. And when you see those puzzle pieces like coming away and coming back together, it's just very interesting in that sense. So that to me is an example of allowing myself to be free.
Nice. Nice,
So
nice,
yeah.
nice. Yeah. There's one thing that I notice about that story, that despite all these restrictions, you still move forward and try to seek something that could help you endure what you're going through. And you
Mm-hmm.
found it, and it was so, like, it feels so perfect for you as Azzy, as a young kid, needing someone there, so it's like it's so meant to be, I would say, that it was, that all of that happened, and the lovely lady was there to do art with. Yeah. And also you were mentioning about how that's why you do less art and you engage more with people in conversation. Maybe that's what, and I'm sure you know this, maybe that's what you were, uh not to say meant to do, but like it's in due time, it's something you found out that resonates more with you, your medium of expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, that suits better for yourself, maybe, I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah.
in time
True
we
that.
develop and change, so yeah, growth.
And that's what's so amazing. Can you
Yeah.
imagine that we have so much power to do anything that we want?
Yeah.
And like at any point of time, we could just switch creative paths. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean that's also a really scary thing.
it
How, okay,
is.
I can't, I don't think we can talk about the psychology of criminals in this episode, but um I was going to venture into
Okay.
how we have the power to do anything we want at any given time, and that is an explanation and reasoning as to why crime happens. But I don't think I should talk about that, but Sidetrack Volume 3? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Anyone watching this video who is interested in criminology, psychology, hit me up, downtimereach@gmail.com. Yeah, but back to the line of topic. Yeah, it's really, really, really interesting how people find a way to free themselves despite restriction. It's really, really interesting, especially in psychology, in the psychology of all of it, sociology of all of it, and that builds into the anthropology in general, like how people, okay, you know what, I should stop defining things, but basically, it builds on
Yeah.
culture as well. It builds on how
Mm.
society is made, and it's all because the humans have this instinct to survive. And right now, we have evolved into the definition of survival is to be free. Despite just water, food, shelter, um, because we have developed into a civilization that is already uh, privileged enough to have these things covered for us. So our next level of survival instinct is more about self development. It's more about self actualization. Definitely talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs here. But yes, yeah, for real though, it's just really really interesting how we could make do with what we have. I mean, it's not the same for everyone. I feel like I was stuck for the longest time in my life, and I think only once I moved from Sarawak to West Malaysia at 17, that's where my mind actually like short circuited and grew. Like it just, whoa, this existed. Whoa, these people are here. You know, I can do this. Theater is here. You know, like everything was happening at one go. It was basically culture shock. My hair was blue, my hair was purple, my hair was green, and it became rose
Interesting.
gold. So like that was my freedom, I would say. Like I allowed myself to like just explode, I would say. Um I didn't necessarily have one fixed person that I could lean on at the time when I came over, but there were multiple people. So I guess what I'm saying is in times of restriction, this gotta be a better word for it. What's the opposite of freedom? In times of
In times of time to Google synonyms for restriction or
in
antonyms
times
of
of
freedom.
non-freedom, opposite. I'm actually googling it.
Okay.
Short break, guys. Do, 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 do. Opposite of freedom. Captivity. We feel like animals now. We are
I
technically
know.
animals. Yeah.
Oh my
Um.
gosh. I feel like restrictions is a good word. Or
Sorry.
less
Restriction.
breathing space. I don't know.
Yeah. So I guess. Okay. Captivity. Nah. It sounds very ape. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
It
just use
sounds,
restriction
yeah.
then. I guess. So yeah. In times of restriction, I forgot my train of thought. Oh my god. Yeah. It's basically
Mm,
um. Actually, what was I gonna get to? In times of restriction. Cue thinking music, Neural.
it's the Raya song. Oh, I changed the song to
Selamat
a complete
Hari
song.
Raya. Are we gonna get copyright strike? Selamat
Oh,
Hari Raya. Okay, never mind.
we're
Okay.
singing it.
Yeah,
How
we're
is
singing.
this?
It's okay. But yeah. I guess that's, you know what? I'm just gonna close that topic of freedom. I lost my train of thought.
Restricted.
I want to close it properly. Do you remember what I was saying?
I I just remember. I only remember the part where we're just like restriction, or is it
Yeah,
another
this is
word?
why I don't like defining things too much. Like this is clearly like a good
Restriction. So,
example where when I overthink, it gets in the way of what I want to say. Because I always want to find the
mm,
right words. Because I always, like,
mm,
even a sidetrack, even yesterday or day before, like, every day I always have to keep justifying myself to people because I don't think I'm a very easy person to understand. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know why. Like, people tell me that my mind is so uh
interesting.
no, I don't know. It's just very hard to understand the not to say the depths of my mind. Like I think everyone has depth in their minds, but mine is just wired differently. Like you know how people have like proper stars and everything. Mine has stars, rocks, and like all the space crack stuff. Like it's just everywhere, and it's very hard to like, yeah.
I feel like that's so
Anyway,
cool though. It's really cool.
what was I saying?
Freedom.
Freedom.
Example, you allowed yourself to go out,
Freedom.
all out and explode. And
I just feel bad that I didn't conclude that properly. Because it's like a cliffhanger, you know? You know what? Let me just make a new conclusion. With all these restrictions, we always find a way to get out for the way that suits us best, I guess. And I hope so. Sometimes, what do you call it? The only times that, because it's human instinct to be free. I would say so. Could be wrong here, but I see that everyone always wants to be free. Whether it's to liberate yourself of pain, to liberate yourself of suffering, you want to be free. Maybe. Grief. No one wants that. Freedom. Right? Freedom in some way. So, the only times that people do not seek freedom, like in my experience, is when they don't realize that they can be free. They're indoctrinated to believe that restriction is the only way. I'm not about to get political here. Okay, let's stop. Okay. Oh my god, there's so much I want to talk about.
Ending too.
What?
That was a good ending too. I mean, that was a good conclusion as well.
Yeah, conclusion to that topic. But yeah, freedom. Guys, so let this episode be the one where you start asking yourself. Actually, yeah. Is this what freedom is like to you? Like what is freedom to you? And if you do have an answer for what freedom means to you and how do you protect that freedom? Comment down below. I really can't wait to I really can't wait to read that. I want to know. I want to know whether there are definitely way more different opinions out there, and I can't wait to see the different opinions on the spectrum. Yeah. But yeah, okay, so now that we've talked about that. Okay, coming back to the initial topic, we were reflecting on our downtime journey, right? I'm so glad that we had a long detour of over half an hour. But yeah, so downtime is coming to an end, and for me per se, I've really learned to speak to people. Okay, what's the top 3 things that you have kind of picked up on in the past year? Like, it can be anything, whether it's about yourself, professional life. Yeah. I'll think of mine as well.
Let's take a moment to think about it. Elevator music time. Dum, 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 dum. What did I learn? Oh my god, I did learn a lot. Let me write it down.
Okay, then I'll go first, I guess.
Yes.
I've learned to speak to people, communicate effectively, through learning more about myself. Like, I think I've said this before, I'm not so sure. Again, I'm not sure if it's in a conversation or podcast, but I will say it again, that because if we don't understand ourselves enough to a certain extent, we'll have a slightly more challenging time explaining ourselves to other people because we might not know how to articulate certain parts of ourselves. So over the year, I've learned to do that. I've learned more about myself, learned different parts of, okay, I actually don't like corn. Oh, okay, I actually find this as a really strong pet peeve. Oh, okay, this is something that triggers me. And I've learned to articulate that to people. Like, all the messy dots in my head connected, but I I was able to transcribe it and encode it in a way that other people might be able to understand easier. Because sidetrack, I remember my brother, my older brother, would always say, Ida, why do you have to speak like this? Like that hurt a lot, abang. No lah, I'm just joking. No. He meant well when he said that. He said you don't have to use all the fancy words to speak. And so I felt defensive at that time. This was over a year ago, I think, because that's the only way I know how to speak. But that's where I learned that um even though it's the only way I know how to speak, other people speak a different way. So how can we connect on on that language, on that plane? So even though we're all speaking English, how do we understand that English? You know what I mean? So I've been learning how to transcribe and encode my understanding of myself and understanding of the world to translate that better for other people to understand so we can understand each other. So that's one of the things I've learned. Yeah. Have you found anything yet, Azzy? I've got two things to think
Ah,
about now.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's go to
I
you first.
could summarize. I
Sorry?
could summarize mine.
Yeah,
I've got
sure.
3 points. And the first one is I learned that I can start anything. Over the past year, I've started a lot of projects, including downtime with Aida. That's amazing. And I realized that on the topic of freedom, we have the freedom to do anything that we want. And that was pretty cool to me. I thought, like, when you try to start something, especially like a startup or an organization, I feel like we always try to get technical really fast. And
Mm,
it is important, but it's also important to remember that to actually let it happen is to
yeah.
really just do something about it and start. So yeah, that's point number one. If I can move on to point number two. Or do you want to share yours first?
I feel like I'll talk forever. I'll go to my point 2 and 3 later. I want to hear from you
Okay,
first. Yeah.
point number two. Because it is the pandemic. Um, Currently, I don't know if you're watching this in 15 years when hopefully
Oh
things
yeah, oh
are better.
yeah.
But
Okay.
I learned that relationships are not, there isn't one single definition to relationships. And relationships, I mean platonic and romantic. And I think we've all learned that over the past year. We always think that in the example of romantic relationships, that they can only be formed in person and genuine love can only be formed when you're face to face, but that's not necessarily true. Um, I think it's just something that we're used to. And when you find like couples meeting online and actually like falling in love with each other and then meeting in person later on and then falling in love with each other again, it's just so beautiful. There's not one single definition. And when we look at platonic relationships, I think over the past year a lot of people have had hard times. A lot of people do not reach out. I think because of the fear of being a burden to other people, and also a fear of, um, yeah, a fear of being a burden to other people. That's one. And because they don't think that the person they're reaching out to want to hear from them. And I've actually fallen into that place as well. It's always a fear of, like, when people say, you can now reach out to me anytime. Everyone starts to question if that's actually true. So it's a matter of believing and trusting those friends and
Mm,
trying to reach out and communicating. And it doesn't, relationships and platonic relationships don't have to be seeing each other every single day for lunch or every single day for week or for like every single week for, I don't know, dinner or like hanging out. It could be over a call. And
mm.
yeah, it's changed a lot. And the last thing I learned about is that my hair is actually, it actually has proper curls. So all I had to do was change my curling routine after watching this other YouTuber. He was just like, yeah, actually, it's a trend on TikTok where people are like, my hair looks wavy. And then after, they're just like, let me try beauty products. And then they try it and their hair gets like big and curly. And I'm just like, man, I want to do that. And it's slowly happening, slowly, but
It's so
you can see the waves.
nice.
But when you look at the
Yeah.
bottom, it's like coils.
It's so nice.
Not big coils, but like coils of some sort. Wait,
Yeah.
coils is not the right word, but a curl. So yeah,
Curl. Nice.
that's the 3 things I've learned over the year. What about you, Ida?
Thanks for
Your
sharing. Um, yeah, so the first one was communicating myself to the world. Because I've always understood the world at a young age, if not everything, slowly. Like, I never really understood myself enough to communicate that with the world. But second, I think it's putting myself out there more. I think the start was seriously downtime because before that it was just theater in 2018 or something. Poetry in 2018 and 19. I mean poetry since 2017, but I stopped for a while as well. Um, and yeah, then the next thing was downtime, especially in the middle of a pandemic. There needed to be something. I needed to do something to make myself feel like, okay, hey, I'm here, you know. And when the idea of the podcast was brought up, I was like, oh, yo, okay, okay, we got this, okay. Yeah, after the podcast came more poetry performances. So, was it last year? That I performed at a friend's poetry slam supporting LGBTQIA community. All the way in Amsterdam. Uh, I had this tiny interview with Unimate as well for poetry and creative work, and it just started rolling out. And all this time before this, I would always say no to opportunities. Like there was this one project I had where another friend of mine would be so upset at me because I didn't say yes to it. Anyway, I'm sorry, Archu, if you're listening. Archu, I'm so sorry.
Shout out.
Shout out to Archunen. Okay, but yeah, on a real though, there was this project I was approached to by the creative industry. Let's just put it at that. And they asked me to be a part of it. They asked me to submit stories and to stage something, but I said no. All because I didn't believe I could do it. So I didn't put myself out there because I was so afraid of that judgment. But one thing I realized over the years that the judgment that is strongest is from myself. And I know it sounds so tacky. I really don't like to hear these kinds of things from other people, but it's so true because it's so relatable. Yeah, you know me. I think I'm stubborn when it comes to taking advice from people because I already know these things, but I'm stubborn to not follow myself as well. So like, when what you call it? When this project I put it down and I realized my life got so stagnant. So when things started rolling out in October last year, I also started streaming on Twitch. And like recently I reached affiliate. So that's I know affiliate is okay, I don't want to minimize my accomplishment. It's such a huge accomplishment for me because I never thought that anyone would watch like my streams and things like that. But and it's small compared to partner, you know, Twitch partner and everything, but because I put myself out there, all these other opportunities just blossomed. Because obviously I don't say yes to every single thing. But what I mean to say is when the opportunity arose, like comes up, that it seems so perfect for me. There's no way I'm gonna say no to it. Like even recently I have a writing project. Stay tuned for All Change Connect 360. There's this writing project we will be performing at the end of June. Oh wait, that it's gonna be overdue. This video is gonna come out later than that. But yeah, for future projects. But yeah, writing as well. So anyway, I've been going on too long about this point. I put myself out there a lot more, and the self-judgment thing. What I mean to say is, yes, the whole world will freaking judge you to the core, will judge you for every single thing you do, but that's because they are afraid of looking inwards. Like they are afraid of looking
Mm-hmm.
uh into what is really there for themselves. People who judge others first cannot judge themselves. They I'm so sorry to say this, but it's true.
It
It's true.
is.
It's really true. They um no hate or anything, but this is just directed to the people who are haters. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over the internet. There will be keyboard warriors just throwing hate here and there, but they refuse to look into themselves. So these are the specific people I'm talking about. That kind of judgment is just noise. What I've learned over the year is to ignore that noise. Even though it hurts, to know yourself enough to say that, okay, this hate is coming unreasonably from a person I don't know. Do they really know you? You know yourself better. Don't let that get to you, even though sometimes reflection is helpful. But if it's just gonna be plain sight hate, don't let it get to you because it's just there to bring you down. People who try to bring
Mm-hmm.
you down, there's a clear issue there. I don't know why people do it, but there's a clear issue there. And if you're not doing it, then it's fine. Unless you did it to other people, then maybe karma is calling you. But yep, don't address the unreasonable hate. Learn that streaming as well. Like sidetrack because people would randomly come into my stream last year and call me ugly, call me big head, call me a big forehead, call
God.
me four eyes, all these
Ugly.
things. So from that I learned to just like, you know what, these are just useless, pointless, uh hateful words. They want a reaction out of you. That's their form of success. And it's so sad. I feel so sad for them if that is your point of success, to get a reaction out of someone. Man, then I would say there's a huge population in this world that I don't know. I That's how I feel about haters. Ones that really have no point but they do it anyway. Yeah, they just want a reaction out of you. So even if it happens,
Yeah.
do come to people you trust for objectivity in times where you might not feel the most stable. It's okay to talk it out. And yeah, all this will lead to you having the endurance, the perseverance, the what's the word? There's one word I'm looking for. Ability? I don't know. Just the overall the ability to put yourself out there more. Hate is gonna come the higher you go, so and if hate is already here, how low I am. Imagine imagine the
No.
higher we climb. But I'm ready, I would say. I'm ready. I'm ready. People will always take things out of context as well. So anything,
Yeah, that's true.
know yourself and have the proof of what context you were speaking in. Yeah, okay, that's my second point. I'm so sorry. It's so long. Um yeah, but after my third point, I guess we should close it lah. I think I'm just getting a bit sentimental to Downtime Volume 2.
Oh,
But yeah,
it is.
okay, putting myself out there, speaking, communicating with myself. I think the third one is just loving myself. I've mentioned this in volume 1 and parts of volume 2, I think. But loving myself has always been the most difficult, and I'm very, very sure that some of you might resonate. If you do resonate, now I don't want to ask to like you can leave us a message. Leave us a message
Yeah,
on
leave us a
Instagram, leave
message.
us a message on YouTube, comment if you want to. But if you do find it hard to love yourself, kudos to you for making it this far, seriously, because for me, I guess it's just the way I was brought up. It's an upbringing. It's the way I have been wired, and it's something that I have to unlearn. But over the past year, it comes in tiny love comes in tiny forms of reassurances where I'm tired and there's no one around me to tell me that I need rest but myself. And so it comes in small gestures such as, you know what, Ida, it's 12 a.m. You're still working? Let's take a shower. And that's enough to build on self love. That's enough to say that, okay, I'm thinking of myself. Because before this, I would work tirelessly and not take care of myself, not eat and everything. I think that pattern is coming back. I mean, right now it's June, but it's coming back and I need to watch out. But yeah, tiny exercises, sleeping more when I guess watching more shows that make me happy or just watching favorite YouTubers, things like that. Just self love has definitely increased. And a year ago, self love in 2020 has increased from the year before. So I think it's just ever growing. It's a snowball effect. So whoever here has resonated with that line of self love being difficult, stay tuned for volume 3. We will talk more about that because I think I have overran
Yes.
time.
No,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah. I do want to explore that topic though. The topic of why it's difficult for people to love themselves. Because for some people it's much more natural, I would say. Hence it looks easier. Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's a topic for a different day, I would say. But yeah,
It's a very
okay.
interesting topic. Yeah.
Sorry?
It's a very interesting topic to explore
Yeah, I really want to talk about
in
that.
volume three.
Stay tuned, guys. Stay
Hmm.
tuned.
Stay
So
tuned.
yeah, as much as I don't want this to end, it has to be put to a stop because I would talk forever, you know me. But what you call it? Yeah, so just looking back at Downtime Volume 2, Volume 1, how it all started. It's been over a year since Downtime has been around. Considering we took a break. Thank you for staying if you did.
Thank you.
Um it's there's also one last thing we have to say before we end our final episode of Volume 2. So, Ozzy,
Yes. So, what we want to share is that Ozzy, me, am joining the viewer gang, and I am no longer being a part of the presenter gang. So, I am discontinuing my time with downtime. So, yeah, the reason being is I have begun other projects, and I guess I realized that it's time to move on. As much as I love downtime and I love speaking with Aida, thankfully we're friends, so we can continue these conversations. You guys just won't be seeing it on screen, unfortunately, or I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm gonna stick to unfortunately. So, yeah, it's really sad, and I think I'm gonna get emotional, but um, I will really miss learning a lot from being here and speaking to guests and speaking to Ida, a person who is so intelligent, creative, smart. All I'm thinking about are like synonyms of intelligent because it's so true. And I'm serious about it because I've known her for so many years and I've always found that in her. So I'm very excited for where downtime is going to go moving forward. It's I've been hearing plans for it already. Ooh, I'm not gonna spill the tea, but what I'm going to say is that you have to stay tuned. My support will continue for downtime, and I hope yours will too, the viewers, because it's just only going to get better. So yeah,
yeah. So yeah, like all good things, it still comes to an end. Like no matter how beautiful the sunset on a very nice day, the sun still sets anyway. But that doesn't mean it doesn't rise the next day. I did not intend that to be a poem, but
see,
yeah,
this is what I mean about intelligent, creative, smart.
no, anyway. But yeah. Thank you, Ozzy, for being part of Downtime for 2 volumes. It was a really wild journey, I think. Especially volume 2. How tyrannious it was. I don't think that's a word. But yeah, especially moving to YouTube. That was difficult. Um in a good way, I would say. That's why the first thing that I said when we came on to this episode was congratulating, sending our kudos to content creators out there, because it really isn't easy to do this on your own. And we had a 4-man team, 3-man team, but we welcome an editor in, 4-man team, and it went a bit smoother. But even so, we're only posting once every 2 weeks. So yes, again, kudos to all the YouTubers out there. Whatever you're doing, it's
Yeah.
insane. So yeah, there's that. So another thing that I want to say before we go, is that, uh, yeah. Wait. I'm still caught up in the feeling that Ozzy's not gonna be on screen anymore. Oh
Oh
my
yeah, I'm
God,
trying
it's
not to
been
think
a
about it.
while.
I'm
But
using my avoidance sign to
oh
like
my
run
God,
away,
same. Yeah, but
compartmentalizing.
so yeah, there was one thing that I wanted to bring up about when Ozzy and I were talking about her leaving on a separate day. I guess the way that I looked at it that was suited for me was that we both have different goals in life, and everyone has different goals in life. So I think this is more of when you have to say goodbye to someone, and it's for the best of each other. It's more like parting ways. Like example, you viewer, if you are saying bye to a partner or a family member at an airport, you have to part ways with someone for a while, or hopefully not forever, like as in like a breakup. Holy crap. Story in volume 3, stay tuned, let's go. But what I mean to
Break up.
say is, I guess how we can look at it is a person who joins you on your journey and you join them on theirs, you guys are definitely going in two different directions from the very beginning. I was, for example, going north, Ozzy was going west. But Ozzy could have gone diagonally, like, okay, diagonally. But we went upwards together before she went this way. So I think that is one thing that no matter where you are in life, if you have to say goodbye to someone, and don't think that it's selfish for them to leave if they did join you more than they should have, kind of thing. Because for me, that's how I used to think about saying goodbye to someone. I'll be like, oh, why do they have to go? I never liked goodbyes, especially when I had to say goodbye to people in my childhood that have been taking care of me, my caretakers. So this one, I really saw it as, I really appreciate that Ozzy like joined me all the way to the middle, to the center point, all the way upwards before turning to west, and I'm heading north, kind of thing. It's like we're still on the same, what is it called, hemisphere. But um
We're
yeah,
just there,
yeah, hemisphere.
somewhere there.
Yeah, but it's been a really good journey, I would say. I'm just really excited for where this would go, I guess. I don't think we'll be welcoming anyone to take Ozzy's place, at least not for a long time, because I don't think that can be replaced. So it's just gonna be like me. It's just gonna be me on screen, but
Which
definitely
is
in volume
great.
3, there's gonna be way more guests, guys. So do stay tuned. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but
Oh my
oh my
god.
god. But yeah, stay tuned for volume 3. Also, one last announcement before we go. We have
Ooh, drum roll.
we have mini downtime merch. Woo! Yeah! Confetti here, confetti there. If Nurul, you can edit that in. If not, it's okay. I added my own sprinkles. But
Yes.
yes, the our designer Sam, in the last episode, all of us have talked about how we wanted to put more out there, more, as in, me and Azzy feel that her work is just, whew, exquisite,
Beautiful.
so beautiful,
Beautiful.
so different, and it's so unique. So we also have had struggles to keep this project, not project, I don't want to say project, I feel like it's an actual podcast for me. um we've had struggles to keep this podcast going due to funds and also just general resources, I would say. So this initiative first and foremost was to put Sam's work out there because she needs more credit for what she does. Really,
She
it's really
does.
great work. I think I've seen designers and there are so few that really put such thought into like their side passion projects as well. So um but I'm very fortunate to meet all the designers I know that actually put a lot of work, the same work that I see. So, guys, don't get me the wrong way. No out of context,
Why
please. But
not?
like Sam is one of those people that really puts so much hard work into what she does. So, we anyway, we are releasing downtime merch that is postcards and stickers. We're starting small, but I think these are things that we think these are things that people might enjoy, and I know that this episode is coming out later than when it was actually recorded. So by this time, pre-orders would have been kind of gone. So don't worry. Link in our description. You'll be able to find everything you need to know about the downtime merch. And yeah, you can get stickers, you can get postcards, you can get both, and you can have it delivered to you. So don't worry. Anything you need to know, follow us on our Instagram. We'll let you know everything there as well. All the updates. Stay tuned for that. This has been downtime. This has been downtime. Is there anything else you want to say, Azzy, before I close it?
No, everyone stay safe, take care, continue supporting Downtime or I will come for you. I'm kidding. Buy our merch if you can and if you'd like, if you're interested. And yeah, support.
Yes, it's simple postcards. It's not too expensive, I hope.
Yeah.
If it is,
And it's
do give us
beautiful.
feedback.
It's worth your money.
Yeah, stickers as well, not too expensive. If it is, give us feedback as well. Seriously. And yeah. So yeah, guys, that's the end of Volume 2. Thank you for watching Episode 8. If you did, thank you for supporting us all the way from Volume 1 to Volume 2. Stay tuned for Volume 3, guys. It's on the way, probably at the end of the year. We'll keep you updated. Follow us on Instagram for more updates, downtime_podcast. And yes, hit that bell button and the subscribe button. It's completely free. It's a very beautiful button. Love it. Tap it gently. And yeah, we will see you soon. If you like this video, also yeah, leave a like, comment, especially the prompts that we mentioned during this podcast. We would like to hear from you guys. If you want to reach out for anything else, do leave us an Instagram DM. Or yeah, we don't really want to make it too formal in emails as well. So leave us messages, comment on our posts, send some of your thoughts our way. We would love to hear it. But yes, till next time, this is Downtime. I'm Aida,
I'm Azzy.
and we will see you in the next episode. Thank you for being here, guys. Bye-bye!
Bye.
Bye-bye!